Today we have the slightly updated 2022 Volkswagen Jetta GLI, and now it's only the Autobahn. That means you get good performance, you've got good space considering the size, and you've got some nice features to go with it, and it makes a really good combination for a great sporty little compact. Today we're going to take a full detailed look at the outside, the inside, and get it out on the road for a test drive. Let's get going. But real quick before we get started, my name is Nolan. Thank you so much for watching. I have a couple other Jetta videos in the description below if you want to check it out, but let's jump into it. Welcome everyone. Let's take a look at all the exterior details on this 2022 GLI. Now there are a few updates, including the fact that this Autobahn is now the only trim. And the GLI gets some specific treatment, kind of like the GTI, with this badging right here. You got the red stripe, you've got the GLI badging, you've also got the red accents down there on that fascia. So we've got LED daytime running lights that wrap around the headlight, LED high and low beams here as well. You'll see the little honeycombed pattern in the grille and in that lower part of that fascia here as well. Now Volkswagen has continued to go with kind of a modern, simplistic design with the hard creases all the way from one side to the back. This is the pure gray paint. It's a matte colored gray. Let me know what you think. It's not real light, but it's not real dark either, and it's paired with the standard 18-inch wheels. These 18-inch wheels also come with this red brake caliper here to kind of top things off for this GLI, plus a little red GLI badge up there. Dimensionally, even though this may be more compact, it's encroaching on mid-size size. It's about 187 inches long, which is actually pretty big for a more compact type of economy car. It also comes with a sport suspension. It's got the adaptive chassis that you'd expect from Volkswagen, where you can adjust the suspension firmness too. And in the back, we've got LED taillights, just like we do up front, plus GLI badging and even larger exhaust outlets compared to what we used to have with the previous GLI years. Now moving to the trunk, so first of all, you can pop it with the key fob in the inside, or you just press that button and the thing pops up. I mean, that's basically like a power operated trunk. One thing to keep in mind is your hinges are completely exposed, so when you're packing, make sure you don't have anything that's going to get in the way. But this is a wide open trunk. This is actually really good size. It's wide on the sides, it's wide all the way back. Volkswagen did a nice job of opening this up. There's 14.1 cubic feet back here. The seats can be folded. You've got tabs on each side to have a 40-60 split fold. Under here, Volkswagen even gives you a compact spare tire. That's great. That's starting to go away in so many cars now, but we still get one. And you don't even have to touch the dirty trunk lid. There's a little grab handle right here to be able to pull it and shut it like that. Now, Volkswagen's key fob right here, we do get the keyless access smart key system. You can pop your trunk. You've got remote start on here. There's no touch sensitive buttons on the back door, but you've got this button that you can lock it, and you use that button to also unlock it. Then these front seats, so these front seats actually get some red stitching now. You've got some red stitching that runs right next to it. You even have the perforated section, even has a little backflow of red in there as well. These are Vienna leather seats, so they look nice, they feel nice as well. The bolstering is actually pretty good without being too narrow and too aggressive. I really do like the bolstering on here. You've got memory settings on here as well, 3-position memory settings, 2-way lumbar support, and your typical tilt, height adjustment, and recline. These are called Comfort Sport seats, and I've been comfortable in them. I like them. I like the overall shape of the Volkswagen seats. They hold you in nicely, and the leather feels good on here. And they're heated and ventilated standard on this GLI Autobahn. Now a quick look at the back seat. You're going to find hard materials up here, but I mean, this is a more compact class. Still get a padded armrest and a decent sized bottle holder there. And the back seat is more spacious than some of you would expect. In fact, I've got a standard sized car seat right there for those of you that are parents, and I can have it almost right behind where I sit, but the passenger can still have good enough room right there, which is always good to see. And then sitting behind myself, I've got decent foot space. I've got good knee space, especially for a car of this size. It's definitely encroaching on mid-size territory with its overall size. There's a surprise here. There's no plugins. There is a plug-in inside of there. There's 2 USB-C plugs up front, but I'm a little bit surprised that we don't have a plug-in back here. There's also no air conditioning vents, direct air conditioning vents. You have to rely on everything from the front seats. Volkswagen still gives us LED interior lighting though, and a center folding armrest with a couple of smaller cup holders. And the good news is I can sit up tall, I can feel my hair touching, but my head's not touching, so headroom, legroom, it's all pretty good. Start it up, we've got the digital display there. I'll go through some of this in detail. And with this GLI, we've got some red accents in here on the dash, on the door, our shifter, and over here on the steering wheel. And one of the updates for this year is these touch-sensitive steering wheel buttons, and I'll talk about those more in a sec. Over on the door, Volkswagen gives you some softer material up here, the same trim and this red stitching on this leatherette right there. Padded armrest with some stitching, a big bulky grab handle, and a really large storage bin down here. I mean, it's so large. I've got a giant like 32-ounce mug, 30-ounce mug, and that can sit in there. Otherwise, most bottles will fit great. But let's look at these steering wheel controls. So it looks nice and clean. You know, it's got like, it's black. It's got the kind of shiny black to it. It's a touch sensitive, and these are like sliders. You can tap on it. You can like actually depress it or kind of slide and touch, but I really don't like it. They're not very precise. They just feel awkward. They're delayed. It's just not immediate feedback like it is with real buttons. I wish they didn't give us this. I understand it kind of looks nice and touch sensitive. Supposed to mean premium, but I don't care for it. The steering wheel, however, is very comfortable to hold on to. You've got a big, bulky grip right there, kind of a semi-perforated section here, a flat bottom on this leather-wrapped wheel, very comfortable wheel to hold on to, and then this 10.25-inch Digital Cockpit Pro is standard. You control everything with the steering wheel. There's different views or different types of information that you can see aside from just the trip computer stuff, but it's just like what you've seen in other Volkswagens, and you can completely change the view as well, give yourself some gauges or change it up so there's just simple information like that. Then moving over here, you're going to find, first of all, we have soft material all along this dash running across. I'm kind of surprised by that. It is nice. It's a nice touch to be able to have that. Plus over here you do have the detail on the dash, but right here this looks like typical Volkswagen. You've got your 8-inch touchscreen. You have some dedicated controls on the left and the right, but no actual buttons except for the volume and tuning knob over there. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are wireless, and those are standard. And you can go to Volkswagen's system here. You've got touch, everything is touch on here. It's just like what you're used to in some other Volkswagens. It's pretty responsive, it works well, but the wireless CarPlay has been very glitchy and the system has gone completely blank a couple times. Another thing is that we actually have the what's it called, Beats audio system. So this comes with Beats audio. You can actually adjust the subwoofer too, so you can make it so that you've got some pretty good bass on here. It sounds okay, it's not great, but it is better than your typical sound system. Moving down, we're gonna find dual zone climate control down here. You'll also find your heated seats, ventilated seats, buttons. Everything's very easy to operate. And then down from there, you have a wireless charging pad and 2 USB-C charging ports. USB-C is the only type of USB port you'll find in here. Now you see we have the automatic transmission in here, but this is a nice shifter. You can still move over for manual shifting on there. In fact, let's go into reverse. We get a backup camera, but surprisingly we don't actually have movable dynamic lines when you turn the wheel. Electronic parking brake, auto stop start, and your drive mode selector right there. Let me go through some of those. So it will actually show up on here. You've got a normal mode, sport mode, a customizable mode as well. And when you're in sport mode, you can really hear more of the exhaust, even eco and comfort mode. Back here, this is where things start to feel a little bit cheaper and more plasticky. I do like this little extra storage bin right here. The cup holders are decent size. Then when you open this up, this is padded right here, which is nice, and it just opens. You don't have to push a button or anything. It's really good size, and one extra USB-C charging port in there. The glove box is not lockable, no locking glove box, but it is really large. Volkswagen gives us an automatic dimming rearview mirror, standard on here as well. And then right up overhead, you're gonna find a sunglass holder, and then we've got LED interior lights too. Now another thing is Volkswagen calls this a panoramic roof. Maybe it's bigger than your typical sunroof, but it's definitely not panoramic. It's kind of wide. I don't care for the fact that this is see-through. There's some pros and cons to this, but I definitely feel like some heat can draw through that. But you can have the glass open and pull this shut and still have an open air experience without the sun beating down on you. So that is definitely a pro. Another thing standard on here is we have 10 color ambient lighting that can be customized in here. So there's lines across the dash, on the door, 10 different colors. You can customize this. I have a night video from a while back showing this off, so be sure to check that out. Now under the hood, it's just what you'd expect for the GLI. It's that 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and it's going to give us 228 horsepower and a healthy 258 pound-feet of torque. Standard, it will come with a 6-speed manual transmission. For those of you that want to shift your own gears, you can do that with the GLI. Otherwise, you can get their 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which is pretty quick. Keep in mind, this is front-wheel drive, no matter what. No all-wheel drive, no rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive for all. However, it does come with Volkswagen's VAQ limited slip differential. We'll talk about how it drives in just a second. Even with this power, efficiency is still all right at 26 miles per gallon city, 36 miles per gallon highway, and right in the middle combined. Alright y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this GLI, and this is where things get fun, and it's a lot different than the regular Jetta. It's very punchy, it's got a lot more power, more torque. And first thing off the bat, this has Volkswagen's IQ Drive, so you're going to get all of its safety features. We've got the adaptive cruise control, a lane keeping system, even the travel assist, which is like the semi-autonomous, you know, lane centering type of technology, traffic jam stuff. You also get blind spot indicators, but the real thing is about how it drives. We're in normal mode. Just a little bit of pedal, and this dual clutch has been very quick to respond, and it has not been super jerky like some that I have been in. For example, like Hyundai's dual clutch seems to be pretty darn jerky and shifty. This one is just fairly smooth and quick. I'm gonna put us in sport mode, and it's automatically going to rev up a little bit. You're going to get more exhaust noise. Whoa, there's a big delay right there. Jeez, it's like the life got sucked out of it. We'll step on it some more in a second. I'm going to go back to normal mode. We even have a comfort mode, so you can literally adjust the stiffness of the suspension. In fact, let me move it to comfort mode. I spend some time in comfort mode because you still get the peppiness of the engine. The steering feedback is still fine. You have variable ratio steering on here, and it's good. I mean, even in comfort mode, the adaptive chassis, the adaptive suspension can be adjusted a little bit too. And overall, I think for being a peppier, more performance-oriented Jetta, it's still very comfortable to drive. There are some rough spots where you can tell that this does get kind of rough, but overall, I think it's a good balance of ride and handling. Now I just put us in sport mode, downshift a little here. Got some quick downshifts with these paddles. You can do it with your gear selector, you can do it with your paddles. I'm gonna keep us in sport mode, but we'll just be in regular automatic mode. Holding the RPMs. It's got a nice sound to it. You've got some exhaust sound. There was a camel over there. Going around corners. Listen to that deep exhaust. Yeah, you can really hear that in here. If you don't have it in sport mode, you don't hear a whole lot of that. Now let's just paddle shift. 5th, 4th, 3rd. And if you don't have it in manual mode and you really get on it, it'll hold you close to the red line too. This might not be quite as fast as I was expecting, but it still gives you a visceral feel. Paddles are quick. Paddles are quick to respond. It's fun to drive. It's definitely fun, especially for this class, you know, not being outrageously powerful. I'll put us in normal mode now. Now, in terms of noise, you can hear the exhaust sound. You know, the exhaust sound is not that bad when you're just cruising along in normal mode. if you want to get a quieter car. This does, however, have a fair amount of road and wind noise, more than I was thinking it would, but for what this is, being a GLI, nobody's probably going to really care. It's not horrible, but the road noise does get pretty loud. Now we're just in normal mode here. Probably hear just how much road noise gets in here. I'm sure the tires make a huge difference. Those will probably quiet it down a little bit, but just something to keep in mind if you're going to use this as an everyday car. It's not as quiet as you might think for the Jetta. But overall, I mean, ergonomics in here are fine. I don't like these buttons though, these touch sensitive buttons. They really just get annoying, not very responsive, not like they should be. Mindless touch and it's done. It's not quite that simple, but you get used to them to an extent. The display works okay most of the time. It's got all you need on there. This gauge cluster is really nice to have as well. Now to wrap things up on this Jetta GLI, I like the performance, I like the space, I like the features. There's a lot to like about this GLI, and the price isn't terrible either. So if you're looking for a good combination of practicality, but fun driving dynamics, the performance that you get under the hood right here, and still some decent space, there's a lot to like with this Jetta GLI, and I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. A thumbs up would be super helpful. Have a great day.